Hi, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to week one of critical reasoning. This week is going to be a little bit different from the upcoming weeks in that I'm not going to follow the lecture format as closely as I normally would. I'm just going to present the general idea of lectures one and two in a fairly loose and kind of schematic way where you can get a good overview of what both chapters are trying to convey. I think those chapters try to convey something similar that can be consolidated into 1 week of lecture notes. And that's what I'm calling the orientation for week one. And in that orientation, I want to emphasize that there are two components, each corresponding to the lecture notes. One set of lecture notes on the first chapter of The Power of Critical Thinking, the second chapter on the environment of critical thinking, and chapters one and two actually go together in a really nice way. And basically, the two chapters are trying to convey this idea that critical reasoning is as much an attitude towards a way of investigating something as it is, grasping a certain set of new and unfamiliar concepts that you would use to understand a certain subject area. So, as for critical thinking and the role of arguments, the idea is that when we do critical thinking, our interest is in trying to give reasons. Apologize for my really bad handwriting. I can't write really well with these iPad pens as much as I try to. But if you can forgive that, at any rate, hopefully you'll be able to see that what I've written is give reasons. And that's basically the idea behind chapter 2, which is that critical thinking is about giving reasons, and in particular, giving reasons for the truth of a claim and where the truth of a claim can be understood objectively. As for the environment of critical thinking, where one's concern is the social circumstances that would allow one to practice critical thinking effectively, the main things that one wants to try to promote are those conditions that would allow for objectivity. And this is a lot more easily said than done. It's really hard to know whether or not you're being objective at the heat of the moment. However, the goal of critical thinking is to try to be as objective as possible in the pursuit of getting at the truth of a claim. The idea of a truth of a claim can be a little bit confusing. You can't deny that people have different subjective preferences. So, for example, different people want or prefer, say, let's take a fairly, bland example, like they prefer different flavors of ice cream. In a situation of this kind, it would make absolutely no sense for anyone to proclaim that there's an objective fact of the matter about which flavor of ice cream is best. So, whether pistachio or strawberry is a good flavor is simply not a matter of objective dispute. It's not an objective issue at all. So this chapter, which is really about the obstacles to critical reasoning, is about the kinds of impediments that you would normally find that interfere with your objectivity. I don't know if you can read my writing, but it says under Chapter 2, impediments to objectivity, which is what Chapter 2 is about. And Chapter 2 is separated into two broad categories of impediments, one having to do with motivations, and the other having to do with certain destructive beliefs.